Good morning, people. Let's continue the conversation and talk about some pitfalls, because there are pitfalls in this lifestyle just like in any other lifestyle, and having seen a lot of people fail, hopefully we can learn from that and not fail ourselves, okay? Um, it goes like this. You get your boat, you get aboard, you start to have some success in the lifestyle, and you find that the living is pretty easy. In fact, suddenly you are enjoying newfound prosperity that comes from your living circumstances, and you're finding that you don't need to work as much, and you've got some freedom and time and all the rest of it. And that one or two a night cocktail habit turns into 10 or 15 a night cocktail habit, and your boat gets covered with more and more and more tarps, fuel cans, dead bicycles, and all the rest, and you rot into the ground. Your boat gets crappier all the time. Why? Because the living is easy and you have no goal. The only goal was to escape, not to go anywhere, and you escaped, but where did that really take you? And you see this happen to a lot of people. It's very easy to get trapped, intoxicated, in fact, by the easy living of the lifestyle and what it affords you, and not recognizing that the prosperity that living minimally can give you is an opportunity to move forward rather than to withdraw. Happens a lot, and it's something that's really important to avoid. And it doesn't need to take such a dramatically self-destructive path either. You see plenty of other people who are of the mindset that they want to do some extended cruising. Again, you don't have to sail away from out forever, but maybe you want to spend a cumulative 2 or 3 months away from the dock every year, which is way more than most people do, but let's say that. But you're worried about your future, and you're trying to sock away a nest egg, and you're working with a fancy career and all this kind of stuff, and you've never said to yourself, you've never answered the question about how much money it is that you need to save. There is no goal. So, of course, if you don't have a goal, you don't have any way of ascertaining whether you've completed it. You've never gotten to the point where your projects are resolved such that you can sail away for a while. You also see the same sort of thing with couples that are nervous of sailing away, and they want to get the boat ready to go someplace. And they work on it, and they work on it, and they work on it, and work on it, and work on it. And in fact, as all sailors know, there has never been, in the history of the world, a ship ready to go to sea. So that too, if you do not have a concrete answer about what is good enough to do what it is you want to do and that you are planning to do, this too can trap you in the land of the Lotus Eaters. This is why, again, it's really critical to have that plan and to have that destination and to strategically work for it, so that there is something that measures success or failure. It gives you something to step by step achieve in fact. The big open-ended, let's just see how it goes stuff has a tendency to not actually go anywhere because there is no destination there. And again, I really encourage having a concrete plan and having a strategy with an X number of boxes that it takes to make it happen, and make sure that you tick them off. And then when the time comes and everything is adequately resolved, you do so. And otherwise, the risk is just simply getting buried in the process, or lack of progress for that matter, and the voyaging comes to ruin. And none of this should be any surprise to anybody. for any of those who have meaningfully been involved in, say, the fitness industry, for example, you know what I'm telling you is absolutely true. For people to achieve meaningful transformational fitness goals, they need to have a goal, a concrete goal, which is something like I want to add 5/8 of an inch to each bicep and put on 8 pounds of muscle mass with a body fat content of 12%. Because if you say that sort of thing, you have a strategy and you have a way of measuring whether or not you're actually achieving anything or not. And if you are not, it also suggests to you that you should be doing something different because you are not achieving your goal. This is massively more valuable than it is to just aimlessly try to do a little better every day, according to what, and just hope for the best. That won't work, and it doesn't work, right? So, I mean, a sensible 3-year plan for someone like me, although I'm partially along this plan, I guess, with the newer boat, or say a plan for me for the next year would be like, hey, I'm setting a goal to spend, say, 2 months in, Bella Bella and Haida Gwaii next summer, okay? And if I do that, a whole host of things suddenly emerge that I have to get done before, say, June of next year in order to pull this off, right? If there are meaningful repairs to the boat, they need to be done. If there's a sail that needs to be replaced, that needs to be done. If I've got a health problem like a crickety back or something of that nature, I need to resolve that before I go. If I don't have any money in order to do this, I need to be able to take care of that before I go. And over the next year, month by month, I can see whether or not I'm making progress or not. That's a very different sort of approach than just saying, well, I hope to do some sailing next summer and we'll see how it works out. Because it's very likely that in the land of the Lotus Eaters it won't work out. Because day to day, in and out, the same sorts of open-ended, I don't know what to do right now tonight, but do what I always do sort of thing. There's no motivation towards any kind of end. And if you just are continually doing the same thing over and over, you should expect no change, no progress. And again, that is the danger of the lifestyle, is that yes, it is cost effective, and yes, that it does give you freedom, and yes, all of that is wonderful. But without the goal, it simply removes the stimulus to achieve a lot of times, and what you end up with is seriously going backwards. So, I mean, this is not complicated, but it's terrifying if you exercise it. It's like you need a date and a destination and a duration of the voyage. If there are problems with the boat that make that iffy, they need to be resolved before that date. If you've got health issues or lack of fitness or habits or such that would make that difficult, they need to be resolved before that date. If you need to save some money or come up with something else or deal with who knows what, you need to take care of that before that date. And if you write all that down on a piece of paper, bullet point by bullet point, if you're tracking your progress as you go along towards the date of departure, if you mean that date of departure in earnest, well, you're going to make great progress. In fact, your voyage starts the second you make that commitment to the voyage. Otherwise, you're not going to do any voyaging. And sure, I know that we get the illusion from YouTube, especially from people, like I say, with the magic money that comes from the sky, that doesn't need to do any planning. Okay? That's not my situation. If this doesn't apply to you because you have unlimited income that comes from nowhere, then none of this would matter because you just do whatever you want. That's your plan. But if you're a normal person who has to achieve things by their own effort, this is the only path forward. And sure, you do see the circumstances of people who just have the opposite illusion where they just throw caution to the wind and buy some older boat that they think is in good shape and they sail off to the Caribbean and da-da-da. Okay? But it's just a matter of operating on borrowed time because it's an unsustainable project. The boat will need help. Things will break. Things will need to be resolved. It is so much cheaper to do that before you go than in some wild port where you can't get supplies and you're already broken out of money and you're already fighting with each other because you're scared about your prospects, and then one or the other of the couple or who knows what just disappears in the middle of the night and leaves the other one holding the bag. Okay? Have a plan, mean to succeed, and resolve it by degrees. And if that's the case, while that 3-year plan might look like it's a long ways out, in fact, the second you have the plan and the destination and the schedule, you're already underway.